Hi, how are you doing? This is Pastor Cheryl. Today, and we've been going through a Bible study. It seems like a lot of people want to do this because they said they most normally don't read the Bible, but if it's read to them or if they read with someone, they get through it. And so, anyway, we're down to John 19, Jesus flogged and mocked. This is the tough part of the Bible that's really hard to read because they take our friend, Jesus, Yeshua, and they really beat him up. It said that he was beaten beyond recognition. And it's hard to believe that they would do that to a young person. But this is something he thinks he was born for and had to be done. Back then, they had sacrifice, like animal sacrifices. We don't do that. I mean, they said it was done away with. Well, we wouldn't do that today. In fact, I'm wondering when Israel starts that up again, if they're going to get in trouble with some animal rights activist group. I'm waiting for that. Okay, I'm waiting for it. But there are a lot of people who love animals, and cows are nice animals. They really are. It's the male, it's the bulls that are not nice, and they will. My niece has a farm, and they had one that was charging after her husband and almost killed him. And so I'm like, well, I won't feel sorry if a bull gets killed, but I feel badly about the cows. They're really sweet animals. But when they start sacrificing them, again, there will be some group that will really object right there in Israel. They really will. Okay, we will start John 19, verse 1. Then Pilate took Jesus and had him flogged. The soldiers also twisted together a crown of thorns, put it on his head, and clothed him in a purple robe. And they kept coming up to him and saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" and were slapping his face. Pilate went outside and said to them, "Look, I'm bringing him out to you to let you know I find no grounds for charging him." So that crowd was still there and was rather threatening to Pilate and his family and other people. He only had like one soldier, one centurion, and that was it for the whole town of, I think they were in Jerusalem, a small province there in Israel, and they just really didn't have the military might there. And this was a big mob. This was a mob that was threatening them, and that's why Jesus was killed. It was because of that mob. And anyway, Jesus came out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. Pilate said to them, "Here's the man." Then here, the next section. Pilate sentences Jesus to death. When the chief priests and the temple servants saw him, they shouted, "Crucify! Crucify!" You remember Pilate was against killing this guy, and so was his wife, who had multiple bad dreams about, Jesus' death, and she said, "Don't touch this man. It's a bad thing." Pilate responded, "Take him and crucify him yourselves, since I find no grounds for charging him." "We have a law," said the Jews, replied to him, "and according to that law, he ought to die because he made himself Son of God." Did he make himself Son of God, or was he born Son of God? When Pilate heard this statement, he was more afraid than ever. He went back into the headquarters and asked Jesus, "Where did you come from?" But Jesus did not give an answer. So Pilate said to him, Do you refuse to speak to me? Don't you know that I have the authority to release you and the authority to crucify you? Jesus comes back, you have no authority over me at all. Jesus answered him, if it hadn't been given to you from above, this is why one who handed me over to you has the greater sin. We will stop there because there is a limited amount of time on this phone. And it takes YouTube at least 10 minutes. I mean, it takes them 6 hours to load up a 10-minute homily. I don't know why. It's a YouTube problem. And so anyway, we will leave that with you there. You know, Pilate's wife was against this. Pilate felt pressed into it because of the mob and felt threatened by them and thought he and his wife were going to be killed. The mob was going to take the place apart. So anyway, he did say, this is why the one who has handed me over to you has the greater sin. Who was that? Think about it. Who was that? It was his buddy Judas, right? Yeah. Yeah, so we will end there. And, the crown of thorns came from 2 plants in the area. It was like a flowering plant with a lot of thorns on it. It was a flower, kind of a bush, and then another one was kind of a tree. It had like 3-inch thorns, but it wasn't a halo thing. It was over his whole head like a helmet. So they were extremely cruel. They were extremely cruel to him. And the Romans were known for this. They were known for their cruelty. And as I said, that this is early history. When you study history, in college, this is early history. People back then, unknown reasons, were just very savage. They were unreal. They were unreal. And Jesus managed to make it through the flogging. He was, must have been a very strong man. Because most people died during the flogging. Most died of blood loss and just passed out. That was it. But Jesus was a young, strong fellow. And we will leave you with that, and we will let you kind of focus in and absorb that. And we will see you. Bye-bye.